I'm Max Lopez, and this is a Blue Wave. So, by all measures, last night, JD Vance had a pretty good debate. But the only thing is that what would be considered a good debate today versus 10 or 20 years ago is much, much different. And that's mainly because Donald Trump has lowered the bar so much of what it means to have a good debate performance that simply not showing utter disrespect to the other candidate that you're debating and to the moderators and talking over the other candidate and the other moderators is enough to have a good debate in this day and age of the GOP. But the problem with that is that when every single one of your rebuttals contains inside of it a blatant lie that is easily disproven, the fact that you're not shouting over the other moderators and being a complete jerk to the other candidate, that's all fine and dandy, but it doesn't mean that what JD Vance was saying last night was lie after lie after lie. And 10, 15, 20 years ago in American politics, you would have lost the debate simply because you were constantly lying and lying. Your demeanor and how much you respecting the other candidate would not really factor into that at all. So what we're going to do here, we're going to fact check some of JD Vance's most egregious lies that he told during the debate last night, starting off with the Affordable Care Act and JD Vance claiming that Trump is somehow some champion of the Affordable Care Act. Let's go ahead and watch this clip here.
Governor.
All right, here's where being an old guy gives you some history. I was there at the creation of the ACA. And the reason it was so important is I come from a major healthcare state, home of the Mayo Clinic, home to Medical Alley, 3M, Medtronic, all of those. We understand healthcare. It's why we're ranked first on affordability and accessibility and quality of healthcare. And so what I know is under Kamala Harris, more people are covered than they have before. And those of you listening, this is critical to you. Now, Donald Trump all of a sudden wants to. Go back and remember this. He ran on the first thing he was going to do on day one was to repeal Obamacare. On day one, he tried to sign an executive order to repeal the ACA. He signed on to a lawsuit to repeal the ACA, but lost at the Supreme Court. And he would have repealed the ACA had it not been for the courage of John McCain to save that bill. Now, fast forward, what that means to you is you lose your pre-existing conditions. If you're sitting at home and you got asthma, too bad. If you're a woman, probably not. Broke your foot during football, might kick you out. Your kids get kicked out when they're 26. Kamala Harris negotiated drug prices for the first time with Medicare. We have 10 drugs that will come online, the most common ones that'll be there. But look, this issue, and when Donald Trump said, I've got a concept of a plan, it cracked me up as a fourth grade teacher because my kids would have never given me that. But what Senator Vance just explained might be worse than a concept, because what he explained is pre-Obamacare. And I'll make this as simple as possible because I have done this for a long time. What they're saying is, if you're healthy, why should you be paying more? So what they're going to do is let insurance companies pick who they insure, because guess what happens? You pay your premium, it's not much. They figure they're not going to have to pay out to you. But those of you a little older, gray, got cancer, you're going to get kicked out of it. That's why the system didn't work. Kamala Harris will protect and enhance the ACA.
Great response there from Tim Walz. And that was a response to JD Vance, basically saying that Donald Trump, in fact, worked to expand the ACA, which we know is a bunch of baloney. So now we'll head on over here to PolitiFact. It says Vance misleads. Trump tried to take down the Affordable Care Act, not build upon it. As president, Donald Trump cut funding for the Affordable Care Act, marketing, outreach, and enrollment assistance, and expanded access to short-term limited coverage plans that Democrats call junk insurance. So it says here, JD Vance on September 15th told viewers of NBC's Meet the Press that former President Donald Trump built up the Affordable Care Act, even though he could have chosen to do the opposite. Donald Trump had two choices, Trump's running mate said. He could have destroyed the program, or he could have actually built upon it and make it better so that Americans didn't lose a lot of health care. He chose to build upon a plan, even though it came from his Democratic predecessor. The remarks follow statements the former president made during his September 10th debate with Harris, in which Trump said of the Affordable Care Act, "I saved it." So what did Trump do with the Affordable Care Act? Most of the Trump's administration's Affordable Care Act related actions involved cutting the program, including reducing by millions of dollars funding for marketing and enrollment assistance and backing the many failed efforts in Congress and the courts to overturn the law. In June 2020, for example, the administration asked the Supreme Court to overturn the law in a case brought by more than a dozen GOP states. The High Court eventually rejected the case. The fact that the Affordable Care Act survived the Trump administration is a testament to the strength of the underlying statutory framework, and that the public rallied around it, said Sabrina Corlett, co-director of the Center on Health Insurance Reforms at Georgetown University. Most Affordable Care Act provisions took effect in 2014 during Barack Obama's presidential administration. So, excuse me, it's a blatant lie here that Donald Trump is somehow a champion and working to save the Affordable Care Act. You can't rebut with that, Vance. if that's your rebuttal, is a blatant lie, okay, that is not a strong response. It doesn't matter how slick you say it. It doesn't matter how good your body language is when you say it. It is a lie that Donald Trump works to save the Affordable Care Act. The American people are not dumb. The American people have the internet. The American people can go and look very clearly that that's not the case. So that it's not a very strong point from JD Vance here. Okay, moving on. Immigration. So we have JD Vance claiming that during the debate last night, he claimed that we have 320,000 children that the Department of Homeland Security has effectively lost, some of them sex trafficked. Mostly false. This is not what a federal oversight report said. The claim refers to a federal oversight report about unaccompanied minors, children who came to the U.S. without a parent or legal guardian. The report covers fiscal years 2019 to 2023, which includes part of Trump's administration. The report mentioned 32,000 children who failed to appear for their immigration court hearings and 291,000 children whom Immigration and Customs Enforcement had not served a notice to appear. A notice to appear is a charging document authorities issue and file in immigration court to start removal proceedings. The report said that by not issuing these notices to the children, Immigration and Customs Enforcement limits its chances of verifying their safety after the federal government releases them. The report led Republican lawmakers and conservative news outlets to say that the Immigration and Customs Enforcement lost the children or that they are missing. But the report did not make that claim. The report said that the children are at risk of trafficking, but it did not present a number. So just another verifiably misleading statement there from JD Vance. And then let's go ahead and watch this clip here of JD Vance talking about the migrants in Springfield.
Thank you, Governor. And just to clarify for our viewers, Springfield, Ohio does have a large number of Haitian migrants who have legal status, temporary protected status.
Well, Margaret, but
thank you, Senator. We have so much to get to.
Margaret, I think it's important because
we're going to turn out of the economy. Thank
Margaret,
you.
the rules were that you guys weren't going to fact check.
So here is JD Vance getting fact checked on talking about the Springfield migrants, and he did not like that very much at all. And what he said, in fact, was he was talking about the CPB One app and basically its ability to allow migrants to schedule asylum hearings, apparently, but that's not what it does at all. So if we look here at PolitiFact, Vance says, so there's an application called the CPB-1 app where you can go as an illegal migrant, apply for asylum or apply for parole and be granted legal status. Mostly false. U.S. Customs and Border Patrol launched the CPB-1 app in 2020 when Trump was president. Biden expanded its use. As of January 2023, people can use the app while in Mexico to make appointments with immigration officials for processing at official points of entry. The app is a scheduling tool, not an application for asylum or parole. A lengthy process follows. Vance is wrong to characterize the people making the appointments as illegal migrants because the people using the app haven't crossed into the United States illegally, just as he is wrong to call Springfield migrants illegal migrants when they have legal protection and legal status being here. So, you know, another lie there by JD Vance about the use of this app and the Springfield, the status of the migrants in Springfield. And last but not least here, let's go ahead and look at JD Vance's statements that he made about abortion.
My question is, why have you changed your position?
Well, Nora, first of all, I never supported a national ban. I did.
My question is, why have you changed your...
You heard him say it there. He never supported a national ban. Never, ever supported a national ban. Let's go over here to JD Vance's website. I am 100%... Well, first off, it says, end abortion. I am 100% pro-life and believe that abortion has turned our society into a place where we see children as an inconvenience to be thrown away rather than a blessing to be nurtured. Eliminating abortion is first and foremost about protecting the unborn, but it's also about making our society more pro-child and pro-family. So it says right here, eliminating abortion is first and foremost about protecting the unborn, which insinuates that removing a woman's ability to get the medical procedure of an abortion is in fact an aim of Donald Trump and JD Vance's future administration. So, I mean, I'm not sure how the American people or anyone out there is buying this lie that JD Vance does not want to end abortion. And then we'll look here also at Tim Walz here talking about, in fact, that it was Donald Trump that killed the bipartisan immigration deal that would have lowered the amount of illegal border crossings and would have, in fact, made the situation at the border much, much better right now. But Trump doesn't want to do that because it gives him one less issue to campaign on. And I thought Tim Walz really pointed that out really well here.
But look, we all want to solve this. Most of us want to solve this, and that is the United States Congress. That's the Border Patrol agents. That's the Chamber of Commerce. That's most Americans out here. That's why we had the fairest and the toughest bill on immigration that this nation's seen. It was crafted by a conservative senator from Oklahoma, James Lankford. I know him. He's super conservative, but he's a man of principle, wants to get it done. Democrats and Republicans worked on this piece of legislation. The Border Patrol said, this is what we need in here. These are the experts. And the Chamber of Commerce and the Wall Street Journal said, pass this thing. Kamala Harris helped get there. 1,500 new border agents, detection for drugs, DOJ money to speed up the adjudications on this, just what America wants. But as soon as I was getting ready to pass and actually tackle this, Donald Trump said no, told them to vote against it because it gives him a campaign issue.
Yeah, exactly. This needs to be called out. And I've talked about this before. Every single time that they are attempting to blame the left for the situation on the border, it needs to be pointed out that we had a bill. It would have significantly reduced the amount of border crossings. Donald Trump killed it so that y'all can blame us. And, you know, this tactic of break things and keep things that are broken remaining broken and not do anything about it And then when things get really, really bad, point to the left and blame the left. This has been a strategy that the GOP's used for a long, long time in this country. And, you know, it's just really, really, it's such an egregious lie to attempt to do it on immigration when just this year we had the bill that was killed ultimately by Donald Trump, whipping up votes against it with the help of Speaker Johnson. So they can't lie on the border. They can't lie on abortion. And they certainly can't lie on the Affordable Care Act, because these are things that verifiably the Republicans have gone against what JD Vance is claimed in that debate last night. And we are not going to let them get away with it. These blatant, obvious lies need to be called out. And I hope the American people can see through JD Vance's slick talking nature and realize just how much the guy was lying through his teeth last night at the debate. So thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, share with someone who's into politics, and we'll be sure to catch you guys in the next video. Until then, take care. Peace.